Never in the history of the FA Cup have two second division teams met in the final. Today, opportunity knocked for Sunderland and Portsmouth. The Pompey chimes up against You'll Never Walk Alone at Highbury, Liverpool's most recent FA Cup triumph in 1989, but it's 53 years since Portsmouth last made it to Wembley. Hillsborough staged its first semi-final since the tragedy 3 years ago. Sunderland Cup winners unforgettably in '73 against Norwich, who've never reached a final and who were beaten semi-finalists the year the whole competition was dominated by the disaster at this ground. The prize at stake for both clubs, a place in the final of the world's most famous football competition. We have just an hour to cram in the action from two outstanding cup ties, and we'll discuss both later on with the former England, Spurs and Portsmouth player, Gary Stevens. But without further ado, we're heading back to lunchtime today at Highbury and Liverpool against Portsmouth. And as far as the team news was concerned, well, Graham Souness had, for the first time in weeks, maybe months, almost a full squad to pick from. John Barnes back in the team, Dean Saunders out. Souness himself, incidentally, never played in an FA Cup final for this club, despite the many other medals he won with them. Portsmouth had a last-minute team crisis with Guy Whittingham pulling out with a muscle strain, although he was on the bench, Mark Chamberlain replacing him. Andy Orford passed the late fitness test. Darren Anderton, it is said, could be a Liverpool player in the not-too-distant future, but this afternoon his sole intention was to knock them out of the cup. Watched by Martin Tyler.
Liverpool kick off. They've brought out all their big guns here. Graham Souness gambling that they will be in good working order given some considerable absences from the battle. Portsmouth have made such progress this season through the promise of their younger players. The precision of their passing has caught the eye as well, but can they maintain their poise in a semi-final where the very prize makes the pulses race? Plus Rob Jones and Steve McManaman of the Liverpool team here haven't sampled a semi-final of the FA Cup before. Rush, who knows all about this tournament. Houghton. Barnes cropping up on the right, waiting for Jones to move outside him, and for Houghton to come through the centre. Chamberlain, having got possession, caught in possession. Whelan went in. There's no reaction from the referee. Rush! Well, the Ian Rush story is already an important chapter in the FA Cup history. And the story not yet over. Mark Chamberlain, having seemingly stepped in for Portsmouth, was caught out. It was awkward for Rush to try and retrieve from that angle, but with Knight committed, it was a chance. Chamberlain complaining to referee Martin Boddenham. And at the moment, Portsmouth needing a little bit of luck to keep it at 0-0. We've had 10 minutes in which Liverpool have been lordly. But that challenge on Chamberlain has left a serious mark. And Mark Chamberlain, who was called into the side only an hour before the kickoff, he was told that Jim Smith had decided to make the change and leave out Guy Whittingham. But it's a comeback that's been very sadly cut short. Warren Aspinall comes on. Aspinall, who had a spell on Merseyside with Everton. Both there and subsequently with Aston Villa and indeed with Portsmouth. He hasn't quite been as productive as seemed possible early in his career. Clark, it's a lovely header down from McLaughlin. Well, he's the player that Liverpool might find hard to pick up. With a certain amount of freedom, playing between the midfield and the one central striker, Clark, who was his real ally here. And Liverpool lost Alan McLaughlin and very nearly lost the opening goal. Burrows. Liverpool using Barnes to support Rush through the centre. And Jones running away from Aspinall until he decided to check. He could have gone on. Playing the safer ball to McManaman, linking up with Thomas and Barnes. Well, the approach work is admirable. But in FA Cup ties, chances have to be taken. And Liverpool haven't done that yet. A lovely touch. And Barnes was leaning back as he made contact with the usual outcome. Here's Anderton. Neil wriggles free. It's over Clark. McManaman takes the safe way out. So a corner to Portsmouth. Warren Neal played a major part in the earning of that. The other, number 7, had to knock it behind. Poole takes it. Barnes butting it away. Back from Beresford. And right for Liverpool. Neil involved again. That's cool. And that was a very good opportunity. Jim Smith knew it. But Martin Cool couldn't convert it. Liverpool had let Cool come in here, clearly onside. Wright played him onside. Orford just managed to squeeze the ball out from under his foot then. So going to back pass away before Barnes was on the scene. Liverpool have had problems with second division sides this season. They needed 2 bites against Bristol Rovers and Ipswich in the FA Cup, of course. And you go back to last year where Blackburn almost knocked them out. And it's Portsmouth who have a chance with McLaughlin. Brilliant stop by Grobbelaar. From Alan McLaughlin, whose goal knocked out Nottingham Forest. And with Grobbelaar in no man's land, it seemed, he suddenly found himself in the right place to get it up and over the bar. And Portsmouth have a corner when they so nearly had a goal. Simons, McLaughlin again, Clark, Grobbelaar. But how? An astonishing episode as Liverpool look really vulnerable at the corner. The back heel from McLaughlin, blocked by Houghton initially, and then claimed as the ball looped up towards Clark by Grobbelaar. And it's Houghton pursuing the pass from Burrows. Barnes. Rush. Oh, it's Whelan! Great stop by Knight. The hardest job of his first half from Ronnie Whelan. Another day, Rush might have got a free kick then. Not today. Beresford. Oh, Grobbelaar comes again. And when you think you've seen his most extraordinary antics, he tops even that. The header of a centre-back from Liverpool's goalkeeper. And you wonder whether he had to be there. But he's dealt with the danger. He calls it his Mad Hatter moments. Cool. It's delivered for Warren Aspinall, fired across the face of the goal, and Clark couldn't get there. There's a more tuneful note at the moment to the Pompey chimes. Anderton gets it in. Clark heads it on. Burns, who tracks between one penalty area and another and has scored 9 times this season, and you can see how, because of his willingness to commit himself. Quick cross from Anderton. That was important. Clark helped it on thoughtfully. It came just too quickly for Chris Burns. Houghton. Thomas. Here's Rush, he's got Barnes to the left. Thomas goes on again through the centre in the type of run that Liverpool knew all about when Thomas won the championship for Arsenal at their expense. Rob Jones to take the corner. Wright leaving his run to a little later this time. Clark has come with him again. Knight didn't get there. Venison volleys it back into the net too, but the whistle had gone as Alan Knight was taken out at the corner. It was a terrific strike by Barry Venison. And it was Mark Wright who was presumably judged to have fouled the goalkeeper. Simons has had a splendid time at the back. He's headed it a long way, and Clark has collected it this time. Anderton. It's for Aspinall to head down again. Burns is in there. Wright reacted in the nick of time. The danger not away yet from the Liverpool goal. It might be now. And the counter-attack is well and truly underway with McManaman. Thomas herring up outside him. It's Michael Thomas and Alan Knight came off his line with wonderful timing as Liverpool raced virtually the length of the pitch. Clark is there again. Gives himself the luxury of a second touch. And Portsmouth can regroup. Whelan. Liverpool, more than most teams. The referee not helping them then. Is that going to be significant in the a change in the balance of power? Happily for Martin Bodnam it wasn't, because of an offside. He was very, very pleased to blow then, I'm sure. Having unwittingly intervened to help Portsmouth. But Liverpool, more than most clubs, know the perimeters of a game, the full distance, and they play their own patient way. And they're as happy to score in the last seconds as at the outset. It's the only goal, of course. It's a great time to score. Rush, will he reach it? No, he might. He has. No. Well, Liverpool might want another look at that. McManaman got it through. Out came Alan Knight. And it didn't look a foul on the goalkeeper. I suspect Rush was given offside. 7 minutes left. Some peerless play by Jones. Whelan, who's lasted the distance well. Rush. Liverpool's throw. Here's Barnes. Thomas! Oh, right across the face of the goal, beyond the far post, beyond McManaman. And Portsmouth can breathe again. Neil. Nicol had a look and couldn't get there. Great advantage from the referee. Clark. The linesman flagged for the foul. Anderton crossed. And Clark could have won it for Pompey. Anderton got the better of Nicol. And Clark side-footing it at the near post, but lifting it. Mike Marsh is going to replace Ray Houghton. And one would assume that Houghton might have been feeling the leg strain that's kept him out. It's a sad shake of the head. Phil Borsma, the medical man, knows what the problem is. Portsmouth, we love you is the cry from the right-hand end. And how they've earned that affection and adulation. But Thomas, only to Burns. Well, you have to hand it to Portsmouth. Great credit to take Liverpool to extra time. After 90 minutes at Highbury, Liverpool 0, Portsmouth 0. Extra time at Highbury, and so much strategy going into the semi-final. Jim Smith has admitted he's not been able to think really about anything else since the draw was made, despite the league matches that have gone on in between. Venice. Marsh. Well, Ian Rush has headed more goals recently than one would expect. The players have been calling him Tosh after John Toshak because of his skill in that department, but they needed a better header then. And still, Rush can't get closer to Dennis Law's all-time FA Cup record. He's 4 behind at the moment. He's still with plenty of time to beat that mark. But as you saw from the reaction on the Liverpool bench, they would rather he did it sooner than later. The openings for Liverpool have been there, despite the tenacity of Portsmouth. And maybe another one coming up. Whelan. Away by Burns. Rob Jones reacted well to it. McManaman. To do too much in the end. Jones got it back. Rush gets it down. Oh, the bar this time. Well, he headed over it, and now he's struck it. And when you see things like this, you start to believe that it could be Portsmouth's day and not Liverpool's. Anderton, nice touch. Clark. Passed out to Whelan. Rush. Six years ago, Rush did it for Liverpool in extra time against Southampton at White Hart Lane in the semi-final. He's had the opportunity to emulate a 2-goal haul then here. Whelan can shoot. Oh, and no one following in. They used to say, when he got into the side, that Ronnie Whelan very quickly proved that he was a man for the big occasion. And he's been well to the fore here, but so has Alan Knight. Beresford. Wright got to the ball as Aspinall arrived. Warren Aspinall has had, by his own admission, a weight problem in his career. Burns. Clark goes to the far post. Dravella has missed it. Clark heads it. And Nicol on the line, bailed out the goalkeeper then. Well, just when you think life is back to normal again in the Liverpool goal, that happens. Jones. Colin Clark couldn't head it hard enough. I doubt if he was taken by surprise. Beresford. Trying to get it beyond Nicol, who got in behind a goalkeeper whose colourful style has leave Liverpool in the lurch from time to time. From you sensed what might happen, and he was in the right place. And that came at a time where you were beginning to wonder just how Portsmouth might manage to score. McManaman, foul by Beresford. We were saying that often in the first half, during a spell in which Beresford was booked. As to try and sort out Steve McManaman. Well, it gives us a chance to reflect on Grobbelaar's mistake, Clark's header, and the rescue act from Steve Nicol. Well, Graham Souness has had so many players crippled, and it looks as though, with a couple of minutes left in the first period of extra time and all the second period to go, Liverpool will have to labour with 10 men. Anderton. Beresford. Here's Burns. Anderton and Clark have got into the centre. And Burns has got the ball there for Clark. For Anderton! Well, it was set up splendidly, and that quality nearly extended to the finish. Clark headed down, Anderton hit it very hard, true it seemed, but not quite. Alan McLaughlin, to a standing ovation from the Portsmouth supporters, goes off. It's tactical. Guy Whittingham, who's had so much publicity over the last couple of years as the former soldier, bought out of the army for £450, and who's certainly been an excellent addition to Portsmouth's squad. Well, there's a switch in the state of mind here, surely. Portsmouth, who got themselves into the underdog mentality and all the fighting spirit that can bring, now really cast as the favourites with the extra man. But Liverpool at times have made light of that with the passing. Anderton, put clear. Is this it for Portsmouth? It is! There's still 10 minutes to go. Looks of disbelief on the supporters' faces there. Darren Anderton, with those long legs stretched away. Grobbelaar got to it, but couldn't keep it out. Warren Neal delivered a pass of rare precision over the back of Liverpool. Anderton did the rest. Off goes Grobbelaar. It's got to go long, and he hopes accurate. It has done to Barnes. Right will play further and further forward now. These are desperate times for Liverpool. Jones. Nicol. And still, brought down crudely by Orford. There are 5 minutes left. Andy Orford moved out then in a moment of panic, really, for Portsmouth. Punishment fitting the crime. But is this the chance of a reprieve for Liverpool? The cold sweat of defeat forming on them. But there's still life in the semi-final. And there's still John Barnes. Barnes! Must be! It is! Ronnie Whelan. Ronnie Whelan followed in. They've seen salvation. Barnes got it over the wall. Knight dived inside of the post, and the first to react, Ronnie Whelan, who hasn't scored for almost 2 years, and well, that's a great time to get the goal touch back. Reward for reaction to the brilliance of Barnes. But Liverpool, who must have been really starting to get the fear of defeat, have always had the quality. It was here in the way they started the game, and it came in the nick of time to get their equaliser, and it's a replay a week tomorrow. Portsmouth, who knocked out Nottingham Forest, have stayed the equal of Liverpool after 2 hours in a sapping semi-final, but they had a golden opportunity to go to Wembley, having taken the lead against 10 men through Darren Anderton, but Ronnie Whelan was on the spot when John Barnes's free kick came out off the inside of the post, and we still don't know the answer.
Liverpool against Portsmouth. The sequel is at Villa Park on Monday week, i.e. a week tomorrow night. We will be showing it, and make sure you're with us over the next few days. We'll let you know exactly what our plans for the match are during the next 48 or 72 hours. However, in the immediate aftermath of today's match, Nick Collins spoke to some of the people involved in what was a thrilling encounter.
Well, Darren, that was a very dramatic semi-final. Extra time, full of drama and incident. Tell us first of all about that wonderful goal that put Portsmouth ahead.
I can't really remember much about it, to be honest with you. I think the ball went back to Warren Neal and I just made my run and he spotted it and put me through. I was fortunate enough to send Bruce the wrong way. That put us in the lead, but unfortunately they've pulled a goal back and it's up to Villa Park next week.
Well, Graham, after a game like that, what was your overriding emotion at the end?
Relief. I felt we deserved to get something from the game. I thought we started well for 10 minutes. Maybe we were guilty of taking a foot off the accelerator. They came back at us. They were better than us for the last 25 minutes, 20 minutes of the first half. Had a couple of chances in that period. But if I feel, from our side, in the second half and certainly in extra time, we were a good bit better than them. And losing the goal with 10 minutes to go and losing McManaman, who was possibly our best player, and that's us down to 10 men, we've got to be delighted and relieved that we're still involved in the FA Cup. How
did you see that Liverpool equaliser?
Well, not enough, obviously, but no, he's bent it over the wall. I've got a hand to it, but as I've just got a hand to it, it's hit the post and that's come back across the goal. And unfortunately, we didn't have no one really following in, and they did. It could have gone anywhere, couldn't it, really, once it came off the post? That's right. I mean, I just felt my hand touch the ball and then obviously felt the post as well. But as you say, it could have gone anywhere, and unfortunately, it went straight, I believe, to Whelan.
I think everybody except the lads thought it was all over, and we always thought we could sneak one again. And once we did, we just more or less killed the game off. We were happy then with a 1-1 draw with 10 men. And then we'll see how it goes in the replay now.
Your goal, though, you must have been pleased with that. It's a while since you've been on the score sheet.
It is a long while, but I couldn't really miss. I think I was less than a yard out. So, but it was nice to get on the score sheet.
Psychologically, have Liverpool stolen a march for the replay because of that late equaliser?
Yeah, I would think, as we all do, if we'd have been reversed, we'd have fancied that you know, as they say, your name on the cup type of thing, and they will definitely feel they got out of jail, I'm sure. But we've got to start again, and I think the task will be harder at Villa Park. I've got to say that. But again, they keep surprising me, so I'm hoping they're going to surprise me one more time. Having scored such a late equaliser, do you think you'll have the psychological edge going into the replay?
A lot of people who have written Portsmouth off before the game. They were 5 minutes away from actually going to Wembley. They'll think that they have a real chance going into it. For us, I just want us to play the kind of football that this club's famous for. And it should be another cracking game for the supporters watching.
Well, your FA Cup dream is still intact, isn't it?
Well, it's still there. It's still there. The door's still open a wee bit.
Graham Souness, but he does have yet more injury worries. McManaman's injury is perhaps more serious than was first thought. He has a cartilage operation tomorrow. John Barnes aggravated his hamstring injury. He'll miss the 2 league matches this week against Aston Villa and Wimbledon, but he hopes he will be fit for the replay at Villa Park on Monday week. And David Burrows has further aggravated his hamstring injury. But Gary Stevens, our guest tonight, one apiece, fair enough?
I think so, yes. You know, as the two managers both said, it was a case of Liverpool getting out of jail at the end of the match, and I would think that Portsmouth are desperately disappointed because, you know, so near and yet so far, and can they really reproduce that type of performance again?
Well, Darren Anderton gets so much publicity at the moment, and if he was going to advertise his claims to the big clubs, the goal was ample evidence of that, wasn't it? Yes,
it was, clearly. Warren Neal plays a great through ball, and it's Darren Anderton's first touch which really sets it up, I felt. He didn't have to break his stride at all. Here we see it again, a lovely weighted ball from Warren Neal, and that first touch, there's not a break in his stride. I felt Bruce Grobbelaar maybe went down a little bit early to his right, and then it's beaten him by his left hand. But, yeah, marvellous goal, and also Darren Anderton defended extremely well in that game. He did an awful lot of work in that direction too.
Now, maybe Liverpool are not the force they were 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, but you can't write them off, and especially a free kick for John Barnes on the edge of the box like that.
Yes, I suppose if you needed a man to take that free kick, John Barnes would be the person, wouldn't he? And he's bent it over the wall, and from Portsmouth's point of view, they've got to be disappointed, the fact that they haven't followed in. I think the nearest man to the ball as Whelan scores was probably 5 yards away, and that's not good defending. They were all extremely tired at that particular moment in the game, as they'd almost played 120 minutes of football.
You're an ex-Portsmouth man. You went into the dressing room afterwards. What was the mood?
The mood was that of great disappointment. You know, there was a lot of young lads there, very close to tears, and some of the senior players extremely disappointed, but they're still in there, aren't they? They've got another chance, and let's face it...
But have they blown their best chance?
That's the question, isn't it? I look back to '83 when Brighton played Manchester United at Wembley and drew 2-2 and ultimately lost the replay 4-0, and maybe that could happen in this situation. My heart says, please, it doesn't, but my head says maybe it will. OK, well, that match is still to be decided. We'll be off to Hillsborough in just a moment or so to see the second semi-final between Norwich and Sunderland. So, no decisive result at Highbury. Maybe that's an omen for the election on Thursday, you never know. And we head off now to Hillsborough. The team news there, Norwich deciding clearly that Robert Fleck was vital to their cause, and he spent a week having oxygen treatment on damaged ribs and played. Norwich had never played in an FA Cup final. Their losing semi-final match against Everton in '89 was overshadowed by events at Hillsborough that very same day. Sunderland's exploits in the cup final of '73 will forever be part of the competition's folklore, of course. Jim Montgomery's save and Ian Porterfield's goal. This team, though, is the same that beat Chelsea in the quarter-final by 2-1, but they're having a wretched run in the league, just 1 place above the relegation zone. But Wembley beckoning again as we join Jonathan Pearce for the best moments.
Norwich City kicking off then from left to right. Hillsborough, an artist's canvas of colour, a cacophony of noise as the Roker Roar comes to South Yorkshire. And away to my left-hand side at the Leppings Lane end, the yellow and greens from Norwich City. Just 1 hurdle before the Twin Towers of Wembley for these two clubs who met in the so-called friendly final, the League Cup final of 1985. And again, it has been a marvellous atmosphere as the first touch comes to Tony Norman then in the Sunderland goal, who was doubtful all week, but it'll be all pulled back for Paul Hardiman to take the throw in. Sunderland starting with what looks like a flat back 4 and Norwich using the sweeper system. But Sunderland away down the left-hand side. The cross from Armstrong, the man who killed Chelsea in the quarter-finals. Rogan's header forward for Sunderland. Bowen, the Norwich skipper, away. Back to Davenport. Davenport, he's drawn Polston out wide. The cross, taunting and teasing and dropping behind Mark Walton's far post. All the omens point to Sunderland. They have the traditionally lucky Hillsborough home dressing room. They won here in the '73 semi before lifting the cup. In that season, 5 of the squad celebrated the arrival of new babies. This season, exactly the same number of new Rokerites delivered to wives and girlfriends of the team. And in the build-up to that winning semi-final of 73, Sunderland had a game rained off in midweek, as they did this week. Bowen's cross now, though, for Norwich. And an early chance, brilliant save! Tony Norman, the header from youngster Chris Sutton. And Norman got down well. First corner of the game, then. Once more, Sutton was in at the near post. The header, though, was by Rob Newman. And this time sailed easily over. Bowen's delivery into the box, and Sutton the flicked header. Good save. Bowen over the top to Fox. He's got beyond the offside trap. All the early pressure Norwich's way. Newman's at the far post. Newman back across. And Norman again flicks it wide, but the free kick is given. Sutton was pushing at the far post, and Sunderland stretched wide open in the early stages. The keeper got a touch again. Newman allowed to come round the back, the header square, and Sutton shoving inside the box. Rogan then with a free kick for Sunderland. Byrne and Davenport and Armstrong and Atkinson all forward. Butterworth's header away. Here's Atkinson stabbing it through. Davenport was there, but too high. Peter Davenport hasn't got a great scoring record in the Cup, despite the smiles. Good chip forward by Atkinson. Always bouncing a little bit too high for Peter Davenport to keep it low. Around about a quarter of an hour left in the first half. Fox and Hardiman. Hardiman was pushing. Butterworth has gone forward. There, top left of your picture. Fleck on the edge of the D. Sutton and Newman on the far side of the box with Butterworth. Looks for Sutton. Rogan's header down. Slammed out. The chase now with Byrne and Culverhouse. He'll wait for support to arrive. Rush on the right-hand side. Atkinson's made the run, he's onside. Atkinson to Byrne! John Byrne maintains his record of scoring in every round. And Sunderland of the second division go ahead against Norwich in the first. And once more the Republic of Ireland international has done it. Atkinson beats the offside trap. Was Byrne offside in the middle though? The easy head in, but was Byrne in an offside trap when the chip went over? Atkinson certainly was onside. And Byrne finished it off neatly. That's Fleck to Sutton. Sutton, can he take the chance? And it must have got a deflection in it, or is it the goal kick? It's the goal kick is given. A minute then I thought that the referee had given the corner. Fleck to Sutton. Good running by Robert Fleck. The early ball in. And he just caught it wrong. The defender did well going with him. Byrne and Polston. Oh, he held it up brilliantly. Byrne. How about that for a striker whose confidence is soaring? John Byrne. How long ago now those days seem at York City at the start of his career. Pinged it in from way, way out. Bowen to Fox. Rogan has gone across and did the right thing then, Anton Rogan. He knew if he'd taken the extra step and gone and closed to Fox on that touchline, Fox would have hit it and run past him. So he just cut the angle off. Fox to Bowen. Newman is making a run. Sutton is round the back. Sutton! Chris Sutton with Norwich's best chance of the game. And their teenage goal-scoring hero of the Cup so far. got it into the position, but lifted it over. Nice chip forward, reminiscent of Rush's chip for the Sunderland goal. All very tight there. Paulson did well. Newman to Fleck. Kevin Ball's challenge, play on. Norwich would have wanted the free kick the way it worked out. Bowen, Ball and Fleck are still down. Newman saw an early opportunity. Ball's challenge was rated fair, but he caught Robert Fleck. Shin to shin, it looked like. But sad for Kevin Ball. He's had a magnificent game at the back. It's his dream to play in the cup final against his old side, Portsmouth. And Gary Bennett will be the man who comes on for Sunderland. 30 years of age, the only survivor in the Sunderland side from the team beaten by Norwich in the '85 League Cup final. Free kick given against Ian Culverhouse. And I think Mark Bowen is to become the second Norwich player here to get in trouble with the referee for too much talking. And like Raw Fox, he gets a yellow card. The Norwich skipper. What can they cook up? Davenport in the middle. They're queuing up. Armstrong's headed out. Oh, it's forced off the line. Bennett! And Gary Bennett, scoring record there of 35 goals in 440 games. Speaks for itself. Culverhouse from the back. Fleck to Such. This time to Polston. Such comes back to Polston. Blocked by Hardiman. Davenport away. It's a barrage now. Bowen in there. Was he shoved? Oh, that's a dangerous free kick to give away. Gordon Armstrong, the offender. 10 minutes to go. Robert Fleck. Or Raw Fox. Oh, and Raw Fox was not too far away. Perhaps Norwich's pick. Kay's throw in. Rush on to Byrne. And John Byrne gets the last touch as Sunderland make Wembley. And Byrne is the hero. John Byrne scores again. And Malcolm Crosby, the Sunderland manager, goes to Wembley in his first few weeks. And the celebrations start for the Rokerites and their hordes. And it's Sunderland at Wembley. They've beaten First Division Norwich by a 1-0.
Fantastic scenes afterwards, and in fact, the supporters of both clubs were praised to the hilt by Chief Superintendent John Nesbitt of South Yorkshire Police, who said their conduct had been exemplary and all football fans around the country could learn from it. Well, you saw Malcolm Crosby there being mobbed by Sunderland fans. He said it was the proudest moment of his career and he hoped he'd still be caretaker manager when they went to Wembley. But for Dave Stringer, a second semi-final defeat within 4 seasons, and he said it was no easier to accept than the first one. What did you make of all that, Gary?
I thought it was a great game, really. Lots of commitment and passion and typical English cup-tie football. It was good to watch.
And the goal?
Well, was he offside or not in the middle, John Byrne? I'm not entirely sure. I think we need to have a good close look at that. But the referee's on the spot. He's got to make the decision at the time, and isn't it difficult to do? Really, the positive run there by Rush and a clever little ball puts 4 players out of the game. But strictly speaking, in that position, John Byrne is in an offside position and it has to be called offside. He's not, in effect, interfering with play, but he's ultimately the man who scores the goal.
He's onside there?
Yes, he is onside there, in fact, yeah. But when the first ball from Rush is pushed through to Atkinson, he's offside, and well, it's hard to call, isn't it? But these decisions mean that a team goes to Wembley or doesn't go to Wembley. Unless we had robots running the line and action replays and everything, you're never going to avoid it.
Sunderland in 1973, as we've said before, is part of FA Cup folklore. Do you think they might do it again?
Well, they've got a lot better chance than Norwich, obviously, haven't they? I think it'd be lovely to see, wouldn't it? Because it does rekindle so many great memories, and Bob Stokoe and that great day at Wembley, which everybody talks about.
Malcolm Crosby's going to have to buy himself a hat. If you fancy a bet, incidentally, on the Cup now, Liverpool are 13-8 on to win it, 15-8 against Sunderland, and Portsmouth 6-1. Now, we have live football for you here tomorrow night, and that's the Autoglass Trophy area final first leg at the Victoria Ground between Stoke City and Peterborough United. That's live from 7:30 on Monday night. Well, the Pompey Chimes and You'll Never Walk Alone are on hold at the moment, but the Roker Roar is certainly in full effect. From all of us here, good night.
Tonight's action from the FA Cup on Sky Sports, bringing you the best football service in the world, was presented in association with Carlsberg.